A complete disaster. Totally pointless. Quackery at its worst. No, you don't get it. I was trying to stop the quacking. Look, I don't want to spend too much time talking about what happened at Eden Hall. We all know it was a disaster. We all know it ended poorly. Largely my fault. Let's just sum it all up, right? The Ducks got full ride athletic scholarships to Eden Hall Academy to join their junior varsity hockey team. Me and the rest of the varsity team gave them a hard time. The Ducks had a losing streak. They didn't like their new coach. They were almost expelled. Coach Bombay came to their rescue to keep them in school. And then they beat the varsity team while wearing their Ducks jerseys, whereupon Eden Hall Academy changed its mascots to the Ducks. Does that all sound about right? Yeah, that's what we wanted Charlie to believe. Are your lights going to be okay with the thunderstorm? Okay, just checking. My name is not Mockumentary-Iceland-player-turned. My name is actually Dr. Mockumentary-Iceland-player-turned. After the Junior Goodwill Games, I was very inspired by the American TV show Doogie Howser MD, and so through hard work in Iceland's amazing education system, I became the youngest doctor to graduate from Reykjavik University Medical School. I returned to Minneapolis where I began my residency at the Eden Hall Institute for the Criminally Delulu. Charlie Conway was my patient. Sorry, one second. Scott! Knock it off! Daddy's doing an interview! Sorry. Damn kids with their pipe organs. Anyways, Coach Bombay had taken a job with the Junior Goodwill Games and needed to leave Minneapolis, and Charlie suffered what we can only describe as a complete delulu. He refused to believe that he was no longer on a team called the Ducks, but that's just a fact of life. You play for a peewee hockey team and then you grow up. But Charlie couldn't fathom such a thing. Literally, any group of people that Charlie was in had to be called the Ducks. And Charlie kept wearing that damn Ducks jersey everywhere. Like he had been wearing that shirt for 6 years unwashed. His mother grew very concerned when he tried to get a summer job. The manager said, "Welcome to the McDonald's team." And Charlie said, "No, we're the Ducks," and proceeded to quack in the manager's face for 40 minutes straight before the police could arrive. That's how he ended up at Eden Hall under my care. Charlie immediately recognized me from both the Hawks and Team Iceland, and even though he understood that I no longer played for those teams, he couldn't shake the fact that I wasn't a Duck. So immediately, he didn't trust me. We need to take a completely new approach. Let's turn the hospital into an elite boarding academy so that Charlie has to play for a team that isn't called the Ducks. We convinced most of his old teammates to help in his treatment, so they received scholarships as well. We turned the east wing of the hospital into a dormitory. We hired child actors to play the rest of the school children. We even brought in old teachers that we thought Charlie might recognize. His old middle school principal became the high school English teacher. My role was to be part of the varsity team, and I actually enlisted my old Iceland teammate Gunnar Stahl to pose as the senior goalie. My associate, Dr. Orion, would play the role of the junior varsity coach. And, yikes. It was all a disaster. We began with a tough love approach. Break them down as Ducks, build them back up as Warriors. And so Dr. Orion demoted Charlie from captain. Me and the varsity team gave them a tough time, trying to instill a sense of camaraderie through common high school hazing rituals, which ordinarily I wouldn't condone, but it seemed necessary. This immediately backfired as the Ducks rallied around Charlie and began a prank war with us by trying to feed us horse manure. They went from 0 to horse manure right out of the gate. That is like level 3 prank war. I mean, come on, it's high school, or at the very least a fake one. When the hell is the JV team ever better than the varsity team? What, would the JV squad take over the varsity schedule? When does a group of freshmen ever enter high school and become better than the seniors, Hogwarts notwithstanding? Dr. Orion tried to convince Charlie that he could play for defense and not just offense. Another side of a team. But that failed. It only drove Charlie further into his delulu. We played a pickup JV versus varsity night game to kind of knock some sense into Charlie, but of course, the whole team shows up wearing their Ducks jerseys. So Charlie is against the doctors. The Ducks are against the doctors. Even my old teammate Gunnar Stahl is now flirting with Julie the Cat Gaffney. Like, whose side are you even on, pal? Again, this was supposed to be just a treatment for Charlie, but somehow it quickly became the Stanford prison experiment. Charlie's Delulu had now become a mass Delulu. Dr. Orion tried to get things under control, but then Charlie quit school, and by that I mean he checked himself out of the hospital. He wasn't being held involuntarily, so we had to let him go. My associate, Dr. Fulton Reed, a 28-year-old physician who had been embedded with the Ducks for some time, kept an eye on him, but then they ended up riding the roller coaster at Mall of America 17 times until they puked their guts out. Charlie eventually returned to Eden Hall, but at that point, the hospital board was really on my case. They were like, how much money have we spent on this? And I said, well, we didn't have an ice rink at this hospital before, so that was $9 million. $9 million? We don't have $9 million for an ice rink for one patient. I said, I am a 17-year-old doctor from Iceland. I don't understand how your insane American healthcare system works with insurance. Why don't you just have universal healthcare like a normal country? They were like, Iceland would have built an ice rink for one patient? And I said, no, but if I had prescribed medicine and therapy, would you have covered that? Yeah, that's what I thought. Then Hans, who was Norwegian, very, very Norwegian and nothing else, he died, and well, that didn't help Charlie's progress. Then the board was like, we got to pull the plug on this whole thing. It's a total disaster. We're ending this fake boarding school experiment. We're expelling the Ducks. But Dr. Orion and I still believed in this treatment. And more importantly, so did Coach Bombay. You see, Coach Bombay really needed this treatment to work. He had stopped dating Charlie's mom once he realized she was a sculpture artist who didn't know how sculpture is made. And Charlie was getting really clingy. Bombay threatened the hospital with a malpractice suit, and so the scholarships were reinstated. We decided to go through with the JV versus varsity game. And our last-ditch effort was to let the Ducks play as the Ducks. We figured one last hurrah as the Ducks. They'll lose to the varsity team. It'll finally knock Charlie from his Delulu, and hopefully the rest of the team too. The first two periods went scoreless when suddenly Dean Portman shows up. Apparently his fake scholarships got lost in the mail, but now the 28-year-old Dr. Fulton Reed is reliving his glory days as a bash brother with him. Everyone is losing their damn minds. Anyways, we planned this ending where Charlie was going to get a breakaway and Gunnar Stahl was going to stop him at the goal, ending his hopes and dreams as a Duck. But then he passed to Goldberg of all f***ing people, who scored the game's only goal. The only goal in the game was from Goldberg? What? Ugh. Anyways, Gordon Bombay pieced out as fast as he could. He didn't want any more part of this. And at that point, there was no longer any hope for Charlie. He was fully gripped in his Delulu, and there was no going back. So we changed the school mascot to the Ducks so he could spend the rest of his days with his fellow Ducks. Until a few years later when we were like, it, let's just get him a job at the University of Oregon. So Charlie is now a Duck for life. It's as happy of an ending as it's going to get for him. Was Eden Hall just a giant waste of time? Of course it was. Did any of what we were trying to do work? Nope. Did the game matter in the end? Absolutely not. Even if it was real, it was just a JV versus varsity high school game. The stakes could not have been lower. But it didn't all end bad. Gunnar Stahl married Julie the Cat Gaffney. They have 6 children, all of whom are supermodels. It's weird. Dean Portman became a male stripper in a Magic Mike review show. He's now dating Charlie's mom. Yikes. Dr. Fulton Reed became disillusioned with medicine and moved to New York, where he's now a partner in a not very successful law firm. But then there's also Goldberg and Russ Tyler, currently finishing up 20 years for kidnapping and false imprisonment at a summer camp. But that's a completely different story. Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Minor Character Theater. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to watch some future episodes, you can hit the subscribe button somewhere in that direction. If you want to watch a past episode, I think there's one somewhere over there. Thanks for watching. It's been really great. Thanks for all the likes and comments. It's been really awesome, and I can't wait to make more. All right, talk to you soon.